Good day and welcome back to the channel. Today we're making something special. Scallops. Ooh, I can't wait. Gonna be in a lime basil cream sauce. It's gonna be awesome. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Farm Cook channel. This is the place where you get to eat well, have fun, and hopefully learn lots, especially about low carb and keto cooking. So now, let's get ready and make some dinner. Welcome back to the Farm Cook kitchen. We're gonna be making some scallops today in a basil cream sauce with lime. It's gonna be spectacular. And in order to get started, I actually have already been started. I'm pointing over there because that's where the sink is, and that's where the scallops are defrosting. These are wild-caught scallops that I picked up at Costco, fairly reasonably priced for scallops. Scallops are a nice treat. It happens to be Saturday. I'm making dinner, and it's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna start off with a big old pan at high heat. We want this, we're making the sauce first, and the sauce is going to be a cream sauce that gets reduced just with heat. There's no thickener, there's nothing else added to it. Really simple ingredients, really good quality ingredients. Bring out the flavors that are actually there in the ingredients so you can have not only a clean meal, but something that's gonna be super tasty. So we're gonna get this heated up. We're gonna start sauteing some shallots. I've got about 60 to 70 grams of shallot. It happened to be one pretty good sized shallot. About 10 grams of basil leaves. I've got the zest and juice of 2 limes ready to go. And a couple of tablespoons of butter that I'm just gonna drop in right now. And the process is really simple, really straightforward, and it only takes about 20 minutes for this entire dish to come together. And most of that time is spent reducing the heavy cream. But it's a simple, conceptually really simple dish, beautiful dish, extraordinarily flavorful, very easy to do. You could do this for a weeknight. It doesn't take all that long. It just takes a little bit of prep and a little bit of cooking time. What I typically will do and did when I was working full time would be to make the sauce on the weekend when I had a lot of time and could do a bunch of different stuff at one time and make sort of a couple of batches of things. So I'd make a big batch of this sauce, have it for whatever the meal was going to be, and then have it available for the rest of the week. A lime basil cream sauce goes beautifully with shrimp, with scallops, with fish. It goes beautifully on vegetables if that's what you're into. It's just super versatile and it's wonderful to have during the week. So now that the butter is melting, getting the shallots in, and we're just gonna saute these guys until they're translucent, maybe a minute or 2 or 3, before we start adding in the heavy cream. So let me just saute these guys. We'll be right back. All right, this has been 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes that this has been sauteing, and the shallots are now getting to that lovely sort of translucent-y type state. If you wanted to, you could caramelize these. Let them go a little bit further, just keep sauteing. It'll provide a little bit different flavor. I'm actually, for this dish, I'm looking for something a little more subtle than that. So before these start to take on a lot of color, I'm gonna drop in a quart of heavy whipping cream. And this is, oh man, it's gonna be so good. This is gonna be the main part of the dish. Getting that good fat in with the awesome lean protein from the scallops, gonna be amazing. And all I'm doing is just keeping the heat on high in this nice wide pan that's gonna facilitate a lot of evaporation. You'll see a lot of bubbles coming up, and I'm gonna have to adjust the temperature so things don't boil over. I'm gonna have to keep stirring so things don't boil over. But this is gonna be a spectacular base from which you can do a bunch of different things throughout the week. But for today, for tonight, what I'm gonna be doing is making this sauce to serve with some scallops. It's gonna be amazing. So we just need a little bit of time for this stuff to reduce. I'm not doing anything else. I haven't seasoned it. The only seasoning that's in here is from the from whatever little bit of butter or whatever salt was in the butter that I used to saute the shallots initially. I'm going to add some salt later after it's had a chance to reduce. And then right before to finish it, I'm going to add in the basil and the lime and add a couple of knobs of butter to sort of tighten up the final sauce, and that's it. So just need some time getting the heat into the pan to force that liquid to evaporate and have the most of the water get boiled off. So we want to reduce this by about half. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Let's check in a little bit. We're about 2 minutes in, high heat, lots of bubbling happening. Let me focus the camera a little bit down there so you can see lots of evaporation is taking place. These bubbles are the water boiling off from the solution, and that's why it's helpful to have a wide pan while you're doing this. And all I'm doing is stirring it pretty regularly, making sure that I'm scraping down the sides and watching for how much it gets reduced. We don't want to over reduce it. We don't want to make it too concentrated, but we do want to reduce it by about half from that total volume initially. So we probably have 5-10 minutes more of this stage of the process before we start seasoning and adding the rest of the ingredients. But it's looking good. Let's check back in later. All right, it's been about 6 minutes. The sauce has started to reduce very nicely. You can see where it started from where it is right now. It's almost there. I think at this point, what I'm going to do is drop in about a tablespoon or 2 of salt just to try and get it incorporated and to really get the seasoning base established. Because again, this is just very, very simple. Heavy cream, some shallots, just a little bit of butter from sauteing the shallots. So the salt is gonna help bring out the flavor of this reduced cream, and it's gonna amplify the basil and the lime flavor. I think we're almost ready for those to get dropped in as well. But I wanna make sure that the salt gets fully incorporated first. And I've turned down the heat a little bit. I didn't want it bubbling like crazy. So I think what I'm going to do is add the lime juice and zest first. I want to make sure everybody gets in the pool. Man, that lime plus the cream and the basil, it's an awesome flavor combination. It adds such brightness to the dish. Such awesome flavor. Lime zest is just an amazing thing. And actually, any sort of citrus zest can add a huge amount of flavor to whatever it is that you're making. Now we're going to drop in about 10 grams of basil leaf that's been finely diced. So pretty small pieces because we want a very elegant sauce. And you can see it's starting to really, really thicken up. So all we're doing now is waiting for everything to get incorporated, fully mixed, uniform distribution of all that lovely green. And the last part of this process for the sauce is going to be just adding, once we get everything up to temperature and seasoned appropriately, we're going to add in a couple of knobs of very cold butter once the pan is off to help emulsify the sauce and bring it together. All right, I've just checked the seasoning. It's very, very yummy. What I'm doing now, just turn off the heat, making sure everything's stirred together. And then get some butter. A couple little chunks here and there. One more just for fun. And again, the cold butter is going to help emulsify the sauce. That fat is going to help bring everything together so that it is yummy and delicious. I did test the seasoning. It's spot on. I think we are good to go. So altogether, this dish took about, or this part of the dish took about 15 minutes to put together. Something, if you have the ingredients, you could easily do on a weeknight. This happens to be a weekend, and it's kind of like a restaurant quality meal. This is like a date night meal that you can do at home and still stick to your low carb plan while having a truly special experience. My gosh, so yummy. All right, this is done. But that's not all we're doing. Got to get ready for the scallops next. All right, we're getting ready for the next part of the meal. The main course, the main attraction. We've got 4 beautiful scallops, just absolutely stunning. These were frozen from Costco. Can't remember exactly what the price is, but they taste yummy. I'm not gonna quibble too much about the Costco stuff, except to say I love scallops, and I'm very, very fortunate to have a Costco nearby with which I can indulge in that interest in scallops without breaking the bank too much. To get scallops out at a restaurant, you're probably looking at a minimum of about $30 for a dish, probably a little bit more these days. So being able to do this at home and have restaurant quality meal is just so special. And it's very, very easy to do. Scallops are just beautiful all by themselves. All we're doing right now is letting them completely dry. They're defrosted, but now I want to make sure that they are dry, because if there's any moisture at all, when that moisture and the scallop hits the pan, that moisture is going to just steam the scallop. We don't want a steamed scallop. We want a nice sear to get that beautiful crust on the outside. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Gonna let these dry out for for a total of about 10 minutes. And then we're going to season them, drop them in the pan, finish with the sauce. It's going to be awesome. Now is the big moment. We'll want to get the pan started on a pretty high heat. I'm going to go medium high to bring the pan up to temperature, because again, what we want to do is have this beautiful crust on the outside of the scallop. So while the pan is coming up to temperature, I'm going to take our sea scallops and just dust them with a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit more. And then a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. That's it. You don't need a lot. And we'll save the rest till we get to the next side. And that's it. That's the treatment that we're doing for these scallops. They don't need anything else. They're going to get accompanied by this beautiful lime basil cream sauce that's over here on the side, staying warm. So once this comes up to temperature, I'm going to drop these guys in with a little bit of neutral oil. In this case, I'm going to be using avocado oil. So we need something that has a pretty high smoke point. If you start off using butter, yeah, butter is awesome. And I love finishing with butter when we're doing scallops. But the smoke point, the temperature at which the milk solids start to burn, is too low to get a good sear on, or is so low that if you want to get a good sear on the scallops, you're going to end up having burned butter taste and look. The pan will turn beyond a beautiful brown butter color. It'll get a little bit, I don't know, almost muddy looking. So we're using a neutral oil instead. So that happens to be, in my case, avocado oil. And we're not quite at temperature yet. We want to make sure that the pan is nice and hot. We'll drop in the scallops, get that beautiful sear, flip them, season them, finish them with the sauce. It's going to be awesome. Just need another minute. All right, the pan's just about up to temperature. Let's drop in about a tablespoon of this neutral oil, and we'll put the seasoned size of the scallops down first. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Oh my goodness. These guys are going to cook fast. We don't want to move them, we don't want to touch them, we don't want to do anything to them except let them sizzle. And you can start to see, if you get down really close, you'll start to see the browning, that Maillard reaction happening on the outside surface of the scallop. And we're just going to let them go, I don't know, just a little bit longer before we flip them and season them on the other side. Oh man, love scallops. Beautiful protein, super clean. And when you add in the fat from the sauce that we just made, it provides a lot of satiety. All right, it's probably 45 seconds. Still a little early. Jumped the gun, my bad. It's one of the great things about scallops. Very simple. There is a technique to cooking them. If you don't pat them dry and get them completely dry, they'll steam and turn rubbery. If you overcook them, they'll turn rubbery. But aside from that, cook them properly, they're awesome. Lovely, beautiful browning. Oh my goodness. These guys are looking and smelling fabulous. What I'm going to do is turn down the temperature just a little bit. So we want to make sure that the backside gets cooked or gets that nice crust, and the middle gets cooked. These are not huge by any stretch, but they're decently sized. Again, want to make sure we season both sides. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. That's it. Super simple. And all we're going to do is let these guys sit. That's it. Don't touch them. Don't move them. Don't shake the pan, despite the urge to do so. And that urge is strong in me, but I'm fighting it. What can I say? I like to play with my food. And you can tell when you look at the cross section of the scallop, you've got this top layer that's got this beautiful crust on it, and you got this bottom layer that's starting to build the crust, and you can sort of see the color change happening in between as the scallop gets fully cooked. And all we need is another, I don't know, 60 seconds or so, maybe, before these guys are done. It's gonna be yummy. Can't wait. So, since we're this close to them being almost done, I'm gonna drop in about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of butter. And that butter is not only gonna help with the transmission of heat, right? Because the butter fat and the butter and the fat in the butter is going to be able to heat up and really transmit heat to those little bits of scallop. But it's also going to provide some awesome flavor. But we don't want to get it too hot because we don't want that burned butter flavor. So I think right now what I'm going to do is just turn off the heat, let these guys sit for a moment, move the butter around so that everybody gets a little bit of that buttery, yummy goodness. And if I was Gordon Ramsay or in a restaurant, I would be moving these guys to the side. Maybe I'll do that anyway. Basting them as best I can with a slotted spatula with this super nice hot butter. Very flavorful, while still giving them some love. I think they're probably done. Heat is off. They're finished. I'm just gonna take them off the fire. Oh yeah. Look at that beautiful crust. And that is it. That is how simple it is. Now, these are beautiful, delicious, fabulous, just as they are. But we're not going to just leave things there. I've got this beautiful sauce hanging out on the other burner. Let me turn down the heat, or turn off the heat. And what I'm going to do is just drop a little bit of this sauce on. And yes, my apologies, I'm not plating very, very well. That's not my thing. I wish I could do plating. Neatness is not part of my DNA. But what do you think? Does that look okay? Does that look like something you might be able to enjoy? Again, this is date night kind of dinner. And the beautiful thing about this is not only is it wonderful and perfect for a low carb lifestyle, but if you have friends or family that aren't following that particular way of eating, this works for them as well. They would just probably have some rice or pasta along with it. So I'm going to grab one of these small guys, dip in the little sauce. Still very hot. Oh my. Scallops are cooked perfectly. They have that beautiful crust, but they're cooked all the way through. Sauce is just wonderful. Complements it beautifully. A little bit of the acid from the lime, and the basil sort of pops. And that background of the shallot. Scallops. It's what's for dinner. Man, is that good. Give this a try. Thanks.